Hey, I'm back and I'm better than ever. Not really, because university is kicking my ass, if you're wondering. You probably weren't, but I'm here to tell you because that's something I complain about on a daily basis, and today's not going to be the day that I stop. I'm sorry. Today I'm going to be trying out something new on my channel. I'm going to be reviewing the show on my blog. It's relatively new, not really, but it's one of my favorite shows. So I thought I'd talk about it a little before the new season comes out, which is season 4, and it's coming out this year. And I'm hoping to turn this thing into a series where every week I review either a show or a movie while I do my makeup and talk about the things that I liked, the things that I disliked, or whether I would recommend it to a friend, and all that jazz. Now, I'm not going to take all the credit for it. This wasn't my idea. It was my boyfriend's idea. But I'm still going to do it because it's my channel at the end of the day. Now, if you haven't watched on my blog, I'm going to give a little bit of a summary. It's going to be a spoiler-free summary. If you haven't watched this show, or if you're planning on watching it, or if you hate spoilers the way that I hate spoilers, I would suggest that you click off. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like still subscribe, still like, just don't fucking watch it. Like, if you don't want to be upset, because I'm going to be referring to certain things that actually happen in the show, and I don't want to upset you, so please take my advice. But you might like other videos that I have on my channel, and I suggest that you go check them out because there's something for everyone. Anyway, as I was saying, on my blog is a show about 4 teenagers, I want to say teenagers, yeah they are because they're in high school. And they live in LA, and the show kind of talks about their friendships and their families and all that going on over there. It's sort of like a comedy. I mean, it is a comedy. It's like a drama comedy sort of thing, not like an adult drama, like a teenager drama, if you know what I mean. It's not real drama, but it's entertaining nonetheless, which is why it's one of my favorite shows. So first I'm gonna put my hair up. Oh, I look bald when I do this. This hurts. I look extra bald now. But yeah, I'm gonna start off by moisturizing and talking about the stuff that I didn't like about on my blog. The reason why I'm starting with the stuff that I didn't like first, is to end this video on a positive note. The first thing that I feel like I didn't like about on my blog, which is kind of important but not really, like it's still a good show, my hands are all slippery and that's why I can't get this open. Okay, wait. Got it. Anyway, so I don't like the fact that it's a comedy, but then there's also like the violence factor. Like some shows do a good job in mixing the two and like they're both related in a way. It makes sense sort of thing, but with on my blog, you feel like both are happening separately. Like there's violence and then there's like fun, but they're not related. This isn't making any sense. Basically what I'm trying to say is that it feels like the two themes, comedy and violence, aren't very cohesive because it feels like they jump in between comedy and like the serious stuff. So you kind of get confused about what emotions to feel, if you get what I mean. So I'm gonna give an example, and that's why I put like a spoiler alert in the beginning. I don't really do much for my eyebrows because I have thickums, but I do like to conceal them to make them a little bit thinner and better shaped because during lockdown I can't get my eyebrows done. Look at how thick they fucking are. Like, I know I could do my own eyebrows, but I'm kind of bad at it, so I'm gonna continue talking after I've done my eyebrows. Also, I'm aware that this concealer isn't my fucking shade, but I ordered it online and it looked darker. It's fine, don't come for me. I tried my best. Oh my god. They look alright, like they're not bad. Anyway, as I was saying about like there being not that much continuity in regards to, you know, like the comedy aspect and the serious aspect on my blog, I meant to say that like it would have been good if they chose one main theme. You get what I mean? Like either mostly comedy or either mostly seriousness and drama. But they have both, and they don't really do a very good job at blending them together. And I said before I was doing my eyebrows, I said I would give an example. I guess it would be how dramatic Monse and Caesar are compared to Jamal and Ruby and Jasmine. Like, Monse and Caesar, they really, I'm gonna talk about them later, but they're kind of weird. And I look fucking crazy with this concealer. Oh my god, who told me to get this shade? What the hell? I look like I got sunburned. Like, you know the people that put on their sunglasses and they get sunburned right here? And they have like white eyes and then like red right here? That's just me right now. So yeah, I hope I made sense. I feel like I didn't when I talked about the violence in comedy or like the seriousness in comedy not really mixing well together. I guess one instance where they did do a good job. Remember when Caesar and his dad were at Jamal's dad's restaurant and Jamal goes in like really late after Caesar and his dad are having like a really serious conversation, like a heartfelt conversation, and then Jamal goes in and he's late for his shift and his dad's like, "You're fired?" Ah! And then he's like, "Oh my god, Caesar had sex in the restaurant. Get him fired." That was so funny to me for some reason. So like I said, I was gonna move on to Caesar and Monse's relationship as the next thing that I don't like about the show. Let me tell you something. Sweetie, they're in a toxic relationship at fucking 15 years old. Why? Why? When I was 15, bro, I would not go out. I would just study and I had no friends. So, I don't know what y'all are doing. Like, I think their relationship's really forced and I don't like it. I'm not here for it. They keep breaking up and getting back together. Like, make up your fucking mind. Live your life as a 15-year-old. Out here breaking up every 5 seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? Also, one thing that I don't like about Monse and Caesar and their relationship is that sometimes the show, or like the producers or whatever of the show, try to make the show or like the plot mainly about their relationship, and I promise you no one cares. Like, I promise you no one cares. No one actually, I think no one in their right mind wants them to be together because it just doesn't make sense. And it's like, they fight over the stupidest shit and then they'll also do the stupidest shit, and then I understand why the other person gets angry. But if your partner does this, I would expect you to break up with them and then not get back together with them. But no, like, one example of this, like one example of the stupidest shit that I've ever heard someone say is when Caesar gets mad that Monse is gonna go visit her mom. And he's like, "You're your mom's daughter, that's why you're leaving me." Like, because Monse's mom left her when she was a child. Bro! Are you fucking crazy? Like, who the fuck do you think you are, Caesar? Who? Ugh. I don't fucking understand it. I really don't. What's the point? What's the point, Monse? I know you can do better. Even though your crying face isn't the best, sweetie. It's not. It's not it. And that's not one of the things that I'm going to talk about. Because it's like, she can't control it, but it's kind of funny. Also, I wonder if that's how the actress actually cries. Like, if she's actually crying as Monse, or if that's how she thinks she looks when she cries, if that makes sense. But yeah, all in all, I feel like Caesar and Monse don't really fit in well with Ruby and Jamal, which kind of ties into my previous point about things not being very cohesive, because they're kind of different. Like, they're not really funny. Jamal and Ruby are genuinely funny, and I feel like Caesar thinks he's a badass, and Monse thinks she's a badass as well, and they're in love. So that makes things all the worse. Another thing that I didn't like about the show is the fact that some characters are a lot a bit 2D. And what I mean by that is that you don't know anything about them other than the fact that, like, other than one characteristic. And that might not make sense right now, but I'll tell you who I'm talking about mainly. And it is Latrell from The Prophets. They portrayed him to be this like monster, but like you really don't know anything about his backstory, which is like, I get it if that's what the producers wanted. They just wanted to focus on the kids and the Santos, but at least give us a little something. Like, we've only seen his girlfriend, and that's all. Like, give us more. We want to know. Other characters that are 2D are Caesar and Spooky's dad. Like, he just shows up and then leaves again. Like, I know nothing about this guy. We want to know more. Give us something. Because y'all aren't doing it for us right now. Like, you really aren't. I hope my eyes look fine. I'm doing a brownish look, which I do all the time. That's all I do. I look kind of crazy right now, but when I do the rest of my face, it usually looks good. So let's trust the process, okay, sweetie? Anyway, I ordered this new product, this e.l.f. What is it called? Poreless Putty Primer. I want to try this out. Look at how satisfying this thing looks. It's crazy. It's soft. I'm trying it out for the first time. It smells like the Fenty, the pink primer. I have it, but then the nozzle broke, so I can't use it anymore. Which is a fucking scam, because like I should be able to get to the product if my nozzle breaks. But I can't. Which is a shame. I look like I have a soul patch right now. By the way, this foundation isn't the best match for me. So, it's fine. We're gonna have to deal with it. So now, I'm going to move on to the things that I liked about the show. Which are a lot of things, actually. So, stay strapped for the ride. Because I'm gonna be fangirling a little bit because I'm so excited for season 4. So, the most general thing that I liked about the show, and it's like the most generic thing that isn't really specific to the show, is that I like lighthearted. It's not really lighthearted all throughout, but it's like an easy watch, and it's funny. What I mean by not hard to watch is the fact that you don't have to be focused all throughout, which is great if you want to relax and watch something. Like, there are shows where you can't look away or else you'll miss something, and I can't do that. I get easily distracted, so that wouldn't work for me, personally speaking, but if you like those shows, you like those shows. Now, there are some serious moments in the show, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is what I love, because it makes me laugh. This light is kind of washing me out, and I'm using this light because there's no sun in the UK. Now, another thing that I like about this show on my blog is that I want to say it's an original idea because I've never seen anything like it. Now, there are a lot of shows about gangs and stuff, but there's rarely ever any comedies about it, and from the perspective of teens or like kids sort of thing, which is what makes it original, and I love it. It's just so funny. I don't know, like, if you noticed, I'm sure you have, but I do have a very special place in my heart for this show. And I'm so sad that season 4 is the last season, but at least we won't get to witness Monse and Caesar break up and get back together again. Another thing that I absolutely love about On My Block is the fact that the side characters, they make the show 100 times better. Like, some shows, there's like no need. There's no need for, what's it called? The side characters, like, they don't do anything. They don't add to the plot. They don't make anything funny. And they're just there to be there. And that's just like a waste of space. And a waste of screen time. On My Block isn't one of those shows. Let me tell you something about the grandma, honey. I love her. Next, I'm gonna move on to Ruby and Jasmine's relationship. My girl Jasmine, she waited on Ruby. She did. She played the long game. I mean, she started off as a side character, and when she was a side character, like, she was one of those side characters that actually added to the plot or the entertainment. Definitely the entertainment. But like, towards the end, she becomes a main character. But yeah, I love the fact that they just didn't fall in love from the beginning and they had to go through stuff. And, like, then Ruby realized that he likes her after she helped him heal. Like, I like how organic it is, rather than Monse and Caesar just being in the same friend group and then liking each other. Was that necessary? Was that needed? In my opinion, it wasn't really. I also want to talk about the characters, some of the characters. Let me stress this. Some of the characters, they have some really good character development throughout the show. And I want to talk about Ruby and Jasmine in specific. Not Ruby and Jasmine, sorry. Yeah, Ruby, Jasmine, and Spooky. Now, I love the way that, like, Spooky starts off as the leader of the Santos. And we first of all start off thinking that that's how he wants to live and that's what he wants to do. And then towards the end, when their dad shows up and he's like, oh, you think I want to do this? The only reason why I'm doing this is to take care of Caesar, because you weren't there to take care of him. I want to settle down and retire. Like, he doesn't want to do this anymore. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's kind of shocking because, like, they portray him as, like, this guy that genuinely enjoys what he does as a gang member. But we find out later on that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't even want to be doing this right now. He doesn't have time for it. He doesn't. My guy Spooky, he just wants some kids, a wife, which he ends up getting, which is crazy. Like, I didn't even expect that when I first started. For Ruby, oh my god, when Olivia died, that was some crazy shit. The way he got PTSD, he didn't want to be friends with anyone. He didn't want to talk to anyone. Oh my god, that was crazy. Because, like, the reason why that was crazy is because he's such a lighthearted character in the beginning. And it's like, wow. They actually did a really good job with Ruby. And the way that they didn't just gloss over Olivia's death. They didn't just make the characters forget that it ever happened. You get what I mean? And that also, like, applies to Jasmine, because Olivia was Jasmine's friend. Even though Olivia was kind of a bitch. This lighting is making my contour look so harsh. But I promise it's not actually that harsh in person. And I also said that I would talk about Jasmine's character development. So, like I said in the beginning, she seems to be like this annoying person, this annoying clingy girl that won't let them be by themselves, sort of thing. Like, she just wants to hang out with them, and they don't want to hang out with her because they find her annoying. Then towards the end, when she becomes friends with Ruby and she helps him get over what happened with Olivia, he was, like, mean to her. He was, like, sort of taking out his frustration out on her. And then she has enough. And, my back hurts. So, yeah, she has enough. And, like, she goes home or whatever and he visits. And he figures out that, like, she's actually taking care of her dad at home because he was injured. So she had to take care of him. And he was like, oh, like, that's when we start to learn more about Jasmine's life, because we knew nothing about her by that time. So I think the show did a pretty good job in terms of that as well. And I sort of want to talk about the finales as well, the season finales. The cliffhangers were fucking crazy. Like, last season when they just stopped talking, like 2 years later, they're like, when Monse moves and they just talk, they're like, oh yeah, we'll stay in contact and stuff, and then they just stop talking 2 years later. I really want to know what happened. But that gives me a segue to the next section, next part of this video, which is my expectations for season 4. One thing that I don't want season 4 to be is sort of what happens in the 2 years between when Monse leaves and then when we see, like, the flash forward, the look into the future 2 years later when none of them are talking to each other. Like, I don't want that to be season 4. I don't know why. I just want, like, closure. If that's going to be the last season, which it will, because I think that's what they said. I want closure. I don't want to know what happened and which led them to not talking anymore. When I said I don't want Caesar and Monse to be together, I didn't mean for them to stop talking as friends. I just don't think they should be together. Like, I really don't. And I'm sure a lot of people share that same opinion. My prediction for season 4 is that they'll all come back together. Part of me is like, how is that gonna happen? Because Caesar took Spooky's place as like the leader of the gang. So how's that gonna happen? Which is what confuses me a little bit when it comes to like trying to figure out what happens later on. So I'm just gonna wait for the season to come out, because obviously my predictions don't really make sense. Another thing that I really want to see is what Spooky's life is like now that he's retired, because that's something that I didn't expect, so I really want an explanation. I'm gonna put these lashes on, and I'll be right back. Y'all, I keep getting lash glue on the bottom and the top. Oh my god. I'm gonna talk about whether I would recommend it. And I feel like if you guys have been catching on, which I hope you have, but that's the end of my makeup. But yeah, I would recommend it. It's easy to watch, it's fucking funny, and you can binge watch it right now. It's on Netflix, and I'm sure the seasons come out like all at once. So you can watch the 4th season when it comes out. So all in all, yes, I would recommend that you go watch On My Block. It's an amazing show in my opinion. I would definitely rewatch it. I have watched it a few times, but I would rewatch it again. I'm here to refilm my outro because that lighting was not it. I'm sorry. The light was washing my face out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was actually really fun. It felt like I was talking to like my friends or whatever while I'm doing my makeup, and it was really relaxed. I feel like I could talk more comfortably. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing more of this type of video. If you guys like it, I enjoy it, so I'm still going to do it. But what would really be helpful to me is if you comment a show or a movie for me to do next week, preferably a movie, because that's easier to watch and review in the span of a week as a university student. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna take off this makeup. Hopefully I'm not getting washed out, but I'm gonna take off this makeup and I'm gonna condition my hair because I feel disgusting. Anyway, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because it's a fun time. It really is, and I promise you, and you need to take my word for it because it is. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I'll see you later. Love you. Bye.